Hello there, all my disciples. Welcome to Find Your Path. I am RNJesus. With me today, I've got Phoebe Bane.
Hi, Molly.
Phoebe, why don't you tell our guests a little bit about yourself?
I'm Phoebe Bane. I'm a tabletop Vtuber content creator person. I mainly specialize in stuff like Pathfinder 2e, their weirder games like Lancer or Icon, and Fabula Ultima, and coming soon, North Starfinder 2e stuffs. Their playtest is dropping soon, and I'm going to be a part of it, hopefully.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to Starfinder 2e as well. So, for today's episode, we're going to be making a character of Phoebe's choice. Phoebe, who are we going to be making today?
Well, I wanted to pick something from the New Age of Elements book that could fit perhaps, and I was like, who better than the mean queen herself, Azula? Or almost queen, at least.
Fine, let's settle this. Just you and me, brother.
What do you want to be looking forward to as playing as Azula? Like, do you want to be focusing more on firebending or more on the social interactions?
I'd say a good mix of both is really efficient for her, especially because sometimes throughout the show you're able to see her how she uses her firebending and a threatening type of aura in a way to scare people to do what she wants. Even her friends fear her and what she can do with her firebending, and using that to behind her to back her political decisions.
Now that's going to be rather interesting to try and pull off. But let's see what we can work together. Let's start off with the ABCs. For her ancestry, Azula is most likely going to be a human.
Yeah, I checked. She's that's all there is really for her. The only humanish thing. There's no fiery humans, for the most part.
Next up, her background. I can see her being noble, obviously, but between genealogy and heterology, I see her being genealogy, since that's actually based upon bloodline as opposed to title that she holds.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially because how obsessed she is with her, usurping her brother and her being the true Fire Lord.
Indeed. And since you wanted to make something from Rage of Elements, she's definitely going to be a kineticist. So the real question is, are we going to make her dual for both air and fire, or just a single gauge for fire?
I figured we should start off as just a single fire. Not only because her only real air type stuff is electricity for the most part, and there's no real electricity stuff early on, and we can kind of decide, keep the character, maybe this is, her level 1, she's, younger as well, when she's still figuring everything out before she becomes the powerhouse that everyone knows to fear later on, in, her teenage years.
So, with her ABCs all set up, let's go ahead and choose her abilities. As a kineticist, we want to try and give her the best that she can for her constitution, so we're going to be putting that at the +4. As for her secondaries, I'd say Dex and Charisma would be pretty much tied because you want to try and avoid getting hit, and at the same time, you also want her to be a conniving mastermind behind the scenes.
Yeah, especially because even her friends fear her, everyone fears her. You need to get that, intimidation up.
Now on to her level 1 skills. Now, as a firebender, she does a lot of bouncing around, doesn't she?
Yeah, there's not as much as an airbender type stuff, but there's still a lot of kicks and flips and flying around the place with her fire.
Yep. So I would say that she's at least trained in athletics and acrobatics.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
As a kineticist, she's automatically trained in nature, and as a noble of genealogy, she's already trained in that, as well as being trained in society, so she's at least able to identify social norms. Now, what we really want to be focusing on is her deception and intimidation. Those are going to be the two big ones in terms of social encounters with her, because not only will she try to intimidate you, she will also try to deceive you at any possible turn she feels is necessary.
I am a 400-foot-tall purple platypus bear with pink horns and silver wings.
Okay, you're good, I admit it.
Yeah, she really is a conniving mastermind, able to wave her and her friends away into the Dai, while also promising all of her friends this is gonna end well. Trust me, nothing bad's gonna ever happen to you guys. As she starts backstabbing more and more people around her that believe the trust to her, and of course she's just scary. Ugh.
Oh yeah, she is. All right, now for her heritage feat. I was thinking the same thing that most people would do for humans, just give her the versatile heritage so she gets that free general feat.
It's so good, it's really hard to pass up.
And for her general feat, I was thinking about giving her assurance. So that way, even in the midst of combat, she can still take a 10 in terms of her intimidation or deception. I figured I'd go with deception because we see her lie more often than being intimidating to people in combat.
Oh yeah, it's become pretty much second nature. She doesn't even have to try to lie to people. That's just her whole thing.
Next up, we have the Ancestry feat. Now, for the Ancestry feat, I decided to go with Dragon Spit, specifically with Produce Flame, because Firebender.
And I could tie a little bit fun to her uncle, whose whole thing was about breathing fire on his mouth, like the dragon of I forgot where he's from.
For the class feat, for her Kineticist feat, we're giving her Extended Kinesis, so that way she can have better control and regulate the fire Kineticist energy that she's got, as well as also proliferate it much easier.
And it also help, like, being extra dramatic in environments where there's fire around, because whatever she is, there's probably fires. Use that to exemplify and, like, further, like, her spookiness or her, like, lyingness.
Yeah, that's true. If you have the ability to try and add an intimidation factor by mimicking or, like, stoking the flames behind you for your big dramatic speech, I mean,
Just
that's
explosions of fire everywhere. It's like, it's me, scary lady.
Now, as a single gate kineticist, they get 2 fire kineticist feats that they can choose. So, I was thinking 2 attacks for her, mainly Scorching Column and Overflow. That lets her do a huge, or not huge, but 10 feet diameter fire pillar that's about 30 feet high, as well as also Burning Jet, allowing her to traverse a vast distance with her fires from behind her.
And a scorching column can be very useful to try and get any stinky airbenders flying around.
After all, fire kineticists can only throw their fire so far. Now for second level, we decided to try and give her Flying Flame. It basically gives her a ranged attack against someone's reflex for 1d6 damage per level? Oh, per 2 levels.
And it can go through multiple people at once, so she can just blast lines of enemies running at her.
And on top of that, we're also going to be giving her Charming Liars. So that way, when she lies to people, she has a chance to also win them over.
Which you see very often in the show, with like the leader of the Daily and then also her friend, sadly enough.
Yeah, and even in that one beach episode.
Oh yeah, the beach episode with the house party and stuff.
On to level 3, let's go ahead and give her Expert in Deception now. And as for her general feat, a feat Lie to Me, allowing you to weave someone else's lie into your own lie.
I mean, all the more better, just like chain these lies together, keep it going, keep this web of lies, deceptions just all over the place, every single thing you have like a lie towards.
So many lies strung together you don't even know what the truth is anymore.
It doesn't matter, you're still gonna become the Fire Lord either way.
For 4th level, we're going to be getting Blazing Way for the Fire Kineticist feat. Flames flow off in your cascade, engulfing everyone in a 30-foot cone. On top of that, we're also going to be giving her Quick Disguise, allowing her to set up a disguise in half the usual time. Which is also going to be pretty good if you have to try and infiltrate an enemy army.
For all your infiltration needs, armies, secret societies, anything, just to get your whole point across.
And now on to level 5. We're going to be bumping up her Intimidation to Expert level here, as well as giving extra boosts over to their Constitution, Dexterity, Intelligence, and Charisma. Now with that bump in Intelligence, they also get a bonus for another trained skill. So I'm deciding to give you a Diplomacy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, eventually she's gonna need to learn more how to, like, actually run the kingdom that she's gonna become the Fire Lord of, especially after her dad goes and becomes king of the world.
That's right. Don't want that kind of weight crushing down on her. And while she may be young, she's still rather clever. Clever enough that she can be a clever improviser. Learn how to handle situations when you're out of your depth and gain untrained improvisation general feat. In addition, you can attempt skill actions that normally require you to be trained even if you're untrained. In other words, she can fake it till she makes it.
She's, like, extremely fitting for her character, because she likes to have that big front of, like, confidence, and, like, she knows exactly what she's doing, but, like, you can clearly see in some parts where she's, like, stumbling through it, but, like, with a good face on and be like, oh yeah, no, it's exactly what I meant to do.
Alright, so at 5th level, we're going to be forking the path and getting her the Air Kineticist ability, Lightning Dash. This allows her to become electricity and dash around up to a 30-foot line. And anyone that she passes by, she's going to be doing electric damage to.
She's, like, super fast, lightning, death, which she almost succeeded at with her brother. And
Ooh,
also
Aang.
succeeded with Aang.
And of course, being the princess, soon to be crowned fire lord of her kingdom, she does have quite a bit of money to spend. As such, we're going to be giving her the Gate Attenuator, which does give her a +1 to her kinetic blast, and also gives her a little fire cantrip for her to use. And if the kineticist and the spell's element match, they can actually try and create a fire technique that also has dehydrate on it.
Well, she seemed to do that a lot with Katara specifically, just where she blasts away all of the water always. Just oof. Bad
Yeah.
matchup.
Which is rather ironic. You think that the water would be the good matchup there.
Yeah, but sometimes you just get too hot and it all goes away.
On top of that, we're also going to be giving her some candles of inflamed passions. As such, this does let her light up the candle. It lasts for about 10 minutes. And any creature around that candle gets a -1 saving penalty to their emotion checks.
Oh, you want to demoralize them mid-combat, lowering their DC so you could extra frighten them?
And you know what? That would actually go really well with the Smoke Veil. With the Smoke Veil, she is able to try and intimidate and demoralize people using just her looks rather than having to speak to them. As such, it's going to be something that's very useful to use, especially when you're using it in tandem with the Candle of Inflamed Passions.
Just light the candle, light them on fire, and scare them away to their doom.
Yeah, that'd do it. On top of that, we can also give her a couple of healing potions here and there because she's definitely going to want to try and look up her own health. Maybe not so much as her followers unless she feels as if she can use them to elongate herself.
Yeah, especially because I don't think she'd trust anybody except for her very close circle of people to actually, like, look at her or attend to her wounds out of fear that they might try to, like, poison her or something like that.
And even then, she may not even trust them all that well.
Mm-hmm. Looking at you, Mai. Those knives got something on them, I know it.
Maybe, maybe not. But if someone does decide to get too close to her, she could always just drink up a potion of retaliation for fire variant. So that way, if anybody does get close enough to try and get in melee distance, they'll get damage from the fire aura around her.
Just so much fire, all of the fire. That burning rage inside of her just comes outwards. It's just all things fire.
And with that, I say that we got Azula pretty much all set up here. What do you think, Phoebe?
Yeah, no, that sounds very good in my opinion. Later levels, we could take even more zappy electricity type stuffs for like lightning bolt similar type kineticist abilities.
Although now that I think about it, there's not really many of those, is there? There are like maybe 3 or 4 specifically in the air, and then maybe another 3 in like metal?
Yeah, I think there's only like 1 or 2 in metal and like a couple in air. I really just use the blasts for the electricity damage with the air one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that the only one that the air and fire does pretty much makes a, kind of like a tornado of flame, doesn't it, for the dual kineticist infusion there?
Yeah, I think that's what it does, just like one of those fire cyclones.
Well, I think that about does it for this episode here. I'd like to thank you very much for coming by, Phoebe. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you?
You can find me over at twitter.com at Phoebe Bane. I guess it's X now, but who cares? Or at twitch.com at Phoebe Bane VT. I'm also going to be starting up my own YouTube channel here soon, talking more about Pathfinder 2e and other tabletop games. So you can check it out there.
Alright, I'll try and check that out as soon as it's ready. And on top of that, I will make sure to have links for that down in the description down below. But in the meantime, thank you everyone for coming by here, and I hope that I can help you next time to find your path. Bye!
Bye!